that weekend I go into a wedding, and East Coast, I'm at the wedding on, Friday night. They're finishing up the Friday round out in Palm Springs. And so it's like live NBC coverage, and we're sitting around the TV watching the golf. It was a rehearsal dinner, to be clear, so it's not and and it's NBC, and they zoom in on men like hitting a shot along, like next to a bunker, like an incline. And he had just signed the deal with Lulu, and the pants were a little snug, little short, and so the pants had ridden up to where you could see the sock, and they zoom in on him hitting this flop shot that was a glorious work of art, and they're zooming in on the bolt that he was wearing, and I was just like, oh my! I'm like, guys, that's my sock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of the Whole Story Podcast. I guess I should stop saying very special. They're all special, right, Jonathan?
Well, they're very special whenever you bring on Gamecocks and coffee and other things that you really prefer. I don't know what we do.
I prefer all of them. I don't know why I say very special. I think it's probably just the reality. We're over 100 episodes in, but the reality that people are still saying yes to come onto this thing. So.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, you mentioned Gamecocks and coffee. This episode, we're talking another one of your favorite topics, socks.
Sock.
I will point out, Jonathan has a license plate that says no socks because that is his life mantra, that he does not want to wear socks. And of course, we scheduled a guy that's breaking all the barriers in the golf sock game, Zack Brust with Del Campo Socks. It was a cool interview, don't you think, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, probably not the business I would have gone after, but whenever you think about it, like trying to create some sort of personality on the golf course, good quality, and American made, right? He found a group up in North Carolina that's making those socks for him. So if you're looking for socks, as we all typically are when it comes to summer, and I guess even winter golf, Del Campo Socks seem like good options. And I think we're going to get a couple pair because I have to wear socks every once in a while when I play golf.
Absolutely, yeah, and they're doing this thing called Golf Camp. I just saw this. It's coming up down in Jacksonville, where he's located, right around the time of the Players. So I think it's happening next week, maybe. So anyway, check out all the good things Del Campo, and you guys are going to enjoy this interview. Shout out to another Jacksonville guy. We've got Dave Warner, who each week it seems like he will reach out via email to us and send us encouraging words. So Dave, thank you for just the encouragement for who you are. And we're excited at some point, hopefully soon, to find a way to tee it up with you. But yeah, if others want to reach out, info@bestball.com, or you can, message us through our social media channels. But Dave's just been an awesome new friend of the program. Haven't ever met him, but very thankful for him and what he does. Also want to point out, I'm rocking, Jonathan, this Dogs of Turf hat. I know you are. You're probably jealous. You like a good patch hat. This is a good hat here from Dogs of Turf. You got to check out their Twitter or X account @Dogs of Turf. They celebrate dogs out on the golf course, which I'm a big fan, and I know you are as well. So check out @Dogs of Turf and appreciate the hat. But friends of the program, we talk about them all the time from Summit Golf Brands. You got Beadratty, Zero Restriction, Fairway and Green, and also EP New York. We're not going to wear any of the ladies' stuff, but the others are awesome. Jonathan, we just came back from the Shindig, the Beadratty Shindig.
Oh my gosh.
Down in Jupiter, Florida. It was awesome, right?
Yeah, I mean, great people, great clothes, just a group of folks that love golf, love quality. And if you might notice here, we got even a little logo option for our little Best Ball logo. So couldn't have had more fun down in Florida meeting everybody. Looking forward to have some of the folks that are a little bit more involved in Beadratty on the show, maybe even Billy himself. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think you said it best. Great people, right? That's it's fun to partner with folks that are just good people, and we like hanging out with them. It was a great time. They were kind enough for any of our guests or listeners, I should say, followers of the program. If you use Best Ball 20 at any of those sites, Beadratty, Zero Restriction, or Fairway and Green, you can get 20% off your order. So check those out. We're also big fans of Western Birch golf tees. You know, we broke a few down in Florida. We had a great time playing down there, but we had our custom best ball tees that we were rocking. I just talked with Stephen Edwards of Twilight Golf Company. He just ordered some, or Twilight Golf Club. They just ordered some for their group and some events they have coming up. They look really good. But westernburst.com, if you use the code BESTBALL, you can get a free gift with your order. And they do great stuff as well. We're very thankful for Lewis and the team there. Another one, course corrections. We're doing that series, Jonathan, where you and I are trying to get better. I think it's slowly improving. You laugh, but we're getting there, man.
It's more like a yo-yo.
It is a yo-yo, just kind of like our golf games. But the Stack System and Arcos have been great partners with this, so check those companies out, and we've got links in the show notes for you guys to get discounts and try to improve your games as well, whether it's game improvement through the data that you can get from Arcos, whether it's swing speed from the Stack System. They will help, and they're helping us, and I'm excited to see as we progress through course corrections where we end up at the end of the year, and then probably keep going through more. So, yeah. Final announcement before we kick off the interview. Good company. We've got an event coming up in Pinehurst, and if anybody is interested in joining us, Jonathan, we're playing some pretty epic courses. Number 2, which hosted the U.S. Open last year. So 1 year after hosting the U.S. Open, Good Company will be there to tackle number 2, playing number 3, which I've played before. It's an awesome little short course. Number 4, the new course, number 10, which has been the best new course of the year. And we're also going to play the Cradle. We've got food. We've got lodging included. Check out all the things that we're doing with Good Company. We've only got a limited number of people that can join us, 24, actually, that are going to be joining us. Good Company. It's going to be good fellowship. So check out all the stuff we're doing on social media. If you're subscribed to Par 3 Thursdays, you've gotten that update. But we'd love to have some good folks join us for Good Company. So, Jonathan?
Can't wait for that trip. Can't wait for that trip. That's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'm excited for you to see it. I've gotten to play number 2 once before, and I can't wait to get back. Just Pinehurst, man, it's an awesome area. So excited that we get to host an event there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
A lot of fun. All right. Without any further ado, let's get to our guest, Del Campo Socks and Zack Brust. Y'all enjoy. All right, our guest today on the Whole Story podcast, coming from the Jacksonville Beach area, Zack Brust, founder of Del Campo Socks, taking the golf sock world by storm, I would like to say. I have one pair. Sorry, Zack, only one pair, given to me by a friend, Ryan O'Mara of Wildwood Golf Course up in the Pacific Northwest area, and they are awesome. So, welcome to the Whole Story podcast.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, the beauty of that is you probably only need one pair. They'll last you quite a while. So,
very nice.
Great work by the Wildwood guys. Those are some of our favorite logos we've ever done.
Oh yeah, the Sasquatch on the side of a golf sock is perfect. So, well, again, we appreciate you joining us. But tell us, we were chatting a little bit before we hit record. You said you played some high school golf. Tell us about golf for you. When did it start? Were you one of those kids that got clubs early and just, I mean, if you're from the Jacksonville area, Florida area, I imagine golf's been a part of your life for a while.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I actually thought a lot about it recently just because of this, acceleration in golf, and everyone seems to be playing. And I have some friends who recently took it up, and it's like I empathize with, like, I couldn't imagine trying to start the game at age 30, 35. So I was fortunate. My dad, well, he had me when he was 23. So one of his classic lines was he would take me golfing as an excuse to be kind of babysitting. So he'd go play with his 3 buddies. He'd hand me a driver off the tee. I'd hit it, and then hand me a 7-iron and just say, keep hitting the thing until it gets to the green, and we'll see you there. And so it was pretty simple. I'd whack it 20 times. I'd see him on the green. I'd 9 putt and go on to the next one. And he got to tell my mom that he was babysitting the whole excursion. So yeah,
Well,
that's
father-son bonding time.
yeah,
That sounds
which
like a great plan for fatherhood. Unfortunately, I wasn't in golf. You joke around getting into golf at 30. I think I started like 27
yeah.
ish. Yeah. We're no longer 27, Robbie.
No,
No. So
no.
you obviously got a little bit better because you played some high school golf. Did you do anything past that, or has it just been sort of the passion behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it's because of, again, the way I grew up with golf with my dad and his friends. Like it was the fun hobby, and like, I mean, say what you want about me, but I never really connected like, oh, if I get really good at this, I can do this every day and make it my living. It was more just like this is the Saturday morning thing you do before college football starts, and um, it was social, it was fun. And so I played soccer, I played football, played every sport really growing up, and then football and soccer kind of became the two that I pursued longer term. And golf has always just kind of been like, the fun, casual Saturday thing that it was when I first started.
So what led you then? What was the career path? You said you went to University of Florida. What was the career path between finishing school and then
Yeah.
starting a golf brand?
Yeah, how long is this recording?
As long as you want, man.
It's a pretty hilarious winding tale, but I went to University of Florida. I was a walk-on the football team. I was a kicker, and obviously was still playing golf. I graduated and went to go work for a startup in Boston. My major was in construction, and I remember having an internship where I was, being taught how to use a fax machine. It was just like, it's
Jonathan
2000.
and I used to sell fax machines,
That's
so come
right.
on.
That's right.
Uh, well, you probably didn't sell any to the company I interned with because I was like, we're not using this anymore. No, I'm kidding. And
You
so,
didn't go full office space on it, did you?
no, no, not full office space, just, only off like the second floor window
I
or something.
gotcha.
Um, so found myself at this startup doing construction technology. We were the first to bring like tablets to construction. Um, Really enjoyed it. Did that for 3 or 4 years. Um, Brought the iPad into the fold. That was an accelerant, as you can imagine. And then um, kind of decided to go back to grad school. I didn't know if I wanted to pivot or what. So I went to the University of Texas in Austin, um, focused on entrepreneurship. And, kind of at that point was like, all right, construction's great and fun, but um, I was just looking for something different, and I was watching College Game Day, the show that comes on before college football starts, and they had this virtual reality company on based out in Stanford, and it was like David Shaw, the coach of Stanford at the time, talking about how they're using VR to watch film. And I kind of reflected back on my experience watching film, and I was like, man, that is cool because like one of the things we always said is like, yeah, it's easy when you're watching film to realize what you could have, should have done, but it's a whole lot different when you're in it. And VR helps bridge that gap and kind of lets you experience it as if you're living it. So I went to work for them for 4 years. Good experience. COVID kind of derailed industry where you share face devices. So we pivoted once more. Worked at Tesla for 3 years after that, and kind of was starting the golf sock thing while I was at Tesla. Um, Tesla was great, but it was rigorous. It was, I joke the whole company's run on Excel, so you had 9 monitors, all of just different Excel trackers, and I was like the golf sock thing was a creative outlet at the time. So I'm getting the story home. So here's how it actually started. Um, I was playing at my home course with a buddy, and I'd been wearing this brand of basketball socks for about a year to play golf. They were like right at your ankle. They had a little design on it, like the logo. Because they were built for basketball, they were high performance quality socks that, they just were durable. and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, I noticed you wear these socks every time we play. What's up?" And I told him that. It kind of sounded like a marketing spiel, and he had worked on a head cover business himself that was doing really well, and he was like, "Why don't you just make your own golf socks?" And I was like, "Well, if nothing else, I'll learn a lot. It'll be fun. I've always been interested in like e-commerce, and so did a bunch of prototyping, drew the smiley on an iPad that afternoon, tested with manufacturing for about a year, and then left Tesla full time last January. So full time sockman.
Man, you go from tech to tech to tech to socks.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a leap of faith right there, man.
Yeah, it was. I got a lot of questioning looks, glances, texts, but I don't know. Part of me was always intrigued. I'm like, instead of trying to solve the most complex issues in the world, like energy, what if we just solved the simplest, like the best sock possible?
Man,
So,
as we get older, though, like for me, it's like comfort and like, especially for your feet when you're playing golf is a huge piece of the game. So I appreciate what you did there. I think trying to make something quality that takes care of your feet, especially if you're walking a ton, you want to have something good down there.
yeah, no doubt. And like, I just reflected on even my own experiences when you go to the golf course and you forget your golf socks. Like, you ask the guy behind the counter, gal behind the counter, and it's always, yeah, I think we got some somewhere, and they're stuffed in the drawer. Like, it's the biggest afterthought in golf. You get your logo on anything under the sun in that shop except socks, and they haven't prioritized it. So it's like, let's at least acknowledge that if you're walking, like, you need something comfortable, durable, um, and that's kind of what we try to do.
So was logo like putting courses or brands or now colleges, universities, teams logos on the side of the socks always part of the marketing plan, or was that kind of like we could also do this?
Yeah, I would call it more of like a fortuitous bounce than like a part of the plan. Logos was on the plan. We tried tinkering with it a bit early on, and then was like, let's just get our core product stood up and get some customer feedback and go. And then we had a shop here locally reach out. Um, I joked like our head of manufacturing, she was like, "There's no way we can get this seahorse on a sock," and I was like, "We got a skull and a crossbone. Like, that's not exactly the simplest thing. Like, let's just see what it would look like." So we tinkered in the software, which shows you like a stitch by stitch look at what it'll look like. And I was like, that's it. Like, that is, I mean, it's like kind of a needlepoint version. So like a Smathers and Branson belt, but I think that's kind of the cool part about it. And so that kind of started the club logo customization side. And then on the school licensing, that was actually hilarious. I sent a few pairs to the University of Florida golf team. John Doobie, who's now our third officially sponsored athlete, national champion, SEC champion, great kid, more importantly. I sent him some socks. He's super gracious. Thank you so much. Have you thought about putting the swinging gator on the logo on the sock? I was like, yeah, John, I thought a lot about that. That would be, that would be cool. And he's like, well, hey, let me introduce you to the licensing director. And I had known the licensing director at Florida from back in my time, but it's been a while. And I certainly wasn't going to stop the SEC champion from sending an introductory email. So he emails her super professional note. Hey Debbie, I want you to meet Zach. He started the company. We love the socks. Gator grad, blah 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 blah. And I get on a call, and she's like, Zach, I've been doing this 20 years. This is the first golf sock application I've gotten. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, what does that mean? She was like, it means you're approved. I was like, whoa.
Awesome.
So Florida says yes. Florida State calls. Florida State and Florida. Now Georgia calls. Almost
Did
said
you tell
no.
Florida State no?
I had to swallow a lot of pride, but I also had some of my best friends went there, so I couldn't let them down.
I got you.
Yeah.
And I saw you referenced
used to wear old basketball socks doing this. I did see your post that Auburn basketball, one of their players was rocking a pair the other day during the game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, we sent some pairs there, and then I had a buddy that was just like, "Those Del Campos in the game?" I was like, "I don't think so," and then they were. So yeah,
That's crazy.
poor damn.
From an NIL sponsorship perspective, how many pairs of socks do you have to send someone before you're officially sponsoring a player? Is this like, because I follow a bunch of college athletes and their lockers are crazy at like D1 baseball, football, all that kind of stuff. So are you sending like 75 pairs of socks to a golf team to sponsor them officially, or?
It's funny. Like I feel like, one of the big things with how we're doing this is there's only so many hours in the day, and so like you gotta obviously be pretty ruthless with how you prioritize. And NIL was just one where it was like I don't even know where to start, and therefore I
Yeah.
don't know if it's worth the time. Um, we played around with it a bit, had some folks at Georgia, but it's just like it's just a black hole where I don't, and
Yeah.
the rules and the methods and the strategies are different across schools, and it's like it's just a wild west to a point where if you're a small business to invest a lot of time or effort into it just didn't make sense for us.
I would imagine too, like if the schools have bought in, Florida State, and Auburn, some of these others have bought in, and somebody is following golf and seeing these things out there, that might kind of do some of the sales for you without having to do the NIL route. Because, let's be honest, right? How much would a golfer, unless you're the next Tiger Woods or, Jordan Spieth or something, how much would a golfer impact the NIL for you as a sock brand?
Yeah, that's
Who
a
knows,
great
right? Like, yeah.
man. It's
Well,
also not
it's
like, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's also not like, unless they're wearing like the smiley, which is our logo, and therefore, presumably that's our sock. A lot of our designs, you don't necessarily like. Billy Horschel was wearing our swinging gator ones on the range yesterday at the Waste Management, but unless someone sees them, loves them, Google's swinging gator golf sock, like it's tough to attribute something like that.
I was just about ready to ask that though, because maybe not the casual fan's going to notice it, but you notice it. So,
Oh yeah.
where's the coolest place that you've been watching TV, your buddy was, your social media? Where's the coolest place that you're like, my sock was here on this person?
Yeah, that's funny. Some of the Florida Gators wore the socks in the bowl game, which was pretty crazy. We're sitting here
Nice.
working with like our ops guy and um, a general counsel. He's applying to law school, but we call him our general counsel. And we flip on the TV, and the damn Gators are running out of tunnel with Del Campos on. So that was funny, but I think the Minwoo Lee is the first earliest holy moment we had where because this was early at the Amex last year. This was January of last year when I had just quit my job and just started doing this, and I DM'd him like three times or something, ghost, response, and the response was just like, "Send me some then." And I was like, "All right." So we sent him some in the sweet box, and like when you get socks, they're stuffed in a plastic bag. They're not exact. It's not a premium experience, but we've obviously tried to change that. So he gets this cool box, 20 pairs in there, a handwritten note, all this stuff. And I don't hear, not that I expected him to call me right away and be like, "Thanks so much, Zach." But, I didn't know anything of it. And then I opened Instagram and he had sent us a video and he's wearing them on like Tuesday of the event. I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty sweet." Well, that weekend I go into a wedding and East Coast, I'm at the wedding on, Friday night. They're finishing up the Friday round out in Palm Springs. And so it's like live NBC coverage and we're sitting around the TV watching watching the golf. It was a rehearsal dinner, to be clear, so it's not like we went. And and it's NBC, and they zoom in on men like hitting a shot along like next to a bunker, like an up an incline. And he had just signed the deal with Lulu, and the pants were a little snug, little short, and so the pants had ridden up to where you could see the sock, and they zoom in on him hitting this flop shot that was a glorious work of art, and they're zooming in on the bolt that he was wearing, and I was just like, oh my! I'm like, guys, that's my sock, and they didn't know that I even have been starting a sock company, and they're like, what do you mean that's your sock? And it's like,
He's wearing my socks.
yeah, I gave him this. And so that
That
was pretty funny.
That's
that's fair.
awesome.
So you would be one in favor of the PGA shifting to shorts, right, during the competition?
Practice rounds has done a lot for us. Like, yeah, it's helpful. We're working with the LPGA, and we're trying to, like, as we speak, trying to figure out what that looks like. We've done some gifting at, the Annika, and gonna do some events later this year. But yeah, shorts help our cause. But then it's even like, if someone bends down to like mark a putt, the pants slide up and you can see the sock. It's also not like, I don't know. That's another, I'll put that in the NIL category to a degree, where how many people saw men's bolt sock and was like, oh, I want a sock with a lightning bolt. How do I find this? So it's, unless you can get a direct endorsement, like, hey, I'm this guy or gal, here's the sock you need.
Yeah.
It's tougher. Yeah.
Have you had other PGA or LPGA golfers besides Minwoo Lee that you know are wearing your socks?
Yeah. So
You said Billy Horschel, yeah.
Billy Horschel, we did. This is kind of an interesting concept that he's helped pioneer with us. We worked on together, was like, we'll make a bunch of socks for his family foundation. They're on our website. Go check them out. And, when we sell through them, we donate the proceeds to his foundation. So it's like a win-win-win. He's handing socks out to the events that he and his foundation host. He's wearing them in practice rounds. But he doesn't have to worry about the fulfillment or standing up a merch shop. And then, we make the socks and we send them out to folks, and then we're putting proceeds to a good cause. So Billy's been instrumental. Fellow Gator, lives around here. And then Matt McCarty is our nearest and dearest friend to Del Campo. He has the smiley on his bag, was our first officially endorsed golfer, and has he's about 6 events into his PGA Tour career.
That's awesome.
Well, your sales pitch is getting me closer, especially for the sockless guy. So let's talk about it. Let's pretend maybe
Okay.
I have to wear socks every once in a while. So how customized, personalized can this get? Are they just go to the website and see what's available? Or are there options for me to create my own sock that says I hate socks or something like that on the cuff?
You
That would
could
be
do
awesome,
that.
actually.
We made a sock with a sock on it, so Sockception. You might love that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Exception. I like it.
Um, yeah. So the base, like what we have on our site, is we have some smileys, different colors, some stripes, different colors, some designs. We have like the bolt, skull and crossbone, palm tree, a wave, stuff like that. We'll do a lot of seasonal stuff. So when fall rolled around, we did some fall tone smileys. They're a little smaller, a little quieter. So like a burgundy, an evergreen, navy. We did a Santa smiley, which was epic. It was just like the same smiley, but with a Santa hat on.
That's awesome.
Did a Valentine's Day one, which, it's not too late, boys. You guys can put your order in. It'll be there by next Friday, I think, Valentine's Day.
We
Um,
should all check our calendars up for that.
Right.
yeah, so, and then a bunch of obviously college licensed ones. And then on the customization front, because it is relatively complex to set up,
Sure.
we have a minimum of, 120 pairs for a logo. I wish we could make one-offs for the boys trips that reach out to us, or or what have you, but we kind of have to have that minimum, at least in the short term.
Are you doing most of the, I guess I'll call it manufacturing, there in Jacksonville?
No, our manufacturing headquarters is in North Carolina, so everything's made in the U.S., top to bottom, which we're proud of. And that was honestly one of the things that I was like, when you start this sock thing, um, I'm new to an industry, completely new to it, obviously. And then we find manufacturing that we like, and you get to know them, and it's like back in the day, they were making socks for Calvin Klein, for Nike, Harley Davidson, some huge brands. And, admittedly, they said to us, like, we love making socks. It's what we've made our career 40 years out of. And we prototyped with them for like 9 months. And then we kind of signed this partnership agreement. But it's cool because like number one, they have capacity to grow with us because of the volume they used to do. And number two, like when you hear reports that we're investing in getting new machines for the first time in 15 years, or like we're doubling the shifts on Tuesday and Thursday, which we haven't done in a decade, like that's awesome. And um, originally, I thought it was kind of cool if our socks were made, like Colombia was the country that we had messed with manufacturing, and they made some good socks for us for complications we don't need to get into. Um, it wasn't right, but like I thought that was cool. And then I'm like, wait a second, no, it's cool to have like a community in North Carolina that is benefiting from every single pair that rolls off the Del Campo shelf.
Should have
So
led with that. I'm sold. I've got to buy socks now, Robbie.
There you
I,
go.
I I'll be honest. I'm probably not going to wear it in my day to day. However, golf still has an etiquette involved where you got to wear socks. So might
It's
as well have
true.
some good ones, right?
yeah,
I'm sitting there thinking like for our good company events, like
Oh, I,
120 minimum, like
I was
we're
already thinking that. I didn't know if we were going to say that out loud, but yeah, we want to host good company events where we bring together folks on golf trips, different places, things like that. So if we could throw a logo on there and have a little good company around the bottom, and they will be worn with shorts because they'll probably be
yeah,
hot in the
yeah,
summertime. So yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah.
that's
No,
great.
so
Yeah, corporate events, it's so funny. Like that's one again where we have so many people who have ordered it, and then you know they're like, this would be perfect for this event we have coming up, or to include in every customer order that does this. So socks in the corporate world, I never knew, but it's like it's pretty crazy. And because we
yeah,
have
It
two
makes it
sizes, it's like, yeah, we could make them fit anybody.
there you go. Well, you mentioned time being one of the, I guess, limiting factors or challenges. What are some other challenges as you try to grow this thing and take it to the next level?
Yeah, good question. I think I mean, last year was our first year. We learned a ton. I think there's this like balance between newness and freshness that people like crave and want and clearly respond to when we do release new things. And then the the operational kind of complexity of like inventory management, um, physical space. We went and looked at some warehouse office space here today, but it's like the Valentine's Day smileys, for example. We were like, I don't know how they're gonna do. Like our audience is about 70% male. It's been the best performing sock we've ever released. And it's like stuff like that. It's great, but you're like, how do you how do you adjust your projections based on, you know, like we don't have history, we don't have last year's data. So stuff like that. And then even like, the wholesale side of things, getting socks to ABC Country Club is pretty easy, pretty transactional, and like it's not rocket science. But then when you start to look at, some major wholesale or retail players, big box retail, like there's contracts, this thick, requirements on packaging, requirements on shipping, you're in deeper water. And so stuff like that, we probably need to mature a little bit, but there's no way to do that without trying it.
Well, and there's timing on all that, right? Like you said, you spend the first 9 months figuring out prototypes, things like that. You find the right manufacturer. And
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like if you're keeping your head down and focused on what your target is, at some point, the rest of it happens, right? Or you just sell more Valentine's Day socks than you can shake a stick at, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, we also like so we had some hard lessons learned last year too. So it hasn't obviously all
Mm.
been gravy, but um there's seasonality to it. I mean, we obviously all know that there's seasonality to golf, but seeing how that plays into your business was an interesting one. So last March was awesome. April, awesome. As you get into the summer, good times are never going to end. And then September. And
September.
September is when the music stops.
Yeah.
And, we didn't have an answer for it. We didn't have anything new.
Mm.
Although everything's made in the US, there is some lead time to it. So we couldn't respond quick enough to that like kind of stagnation. So this year we're planning for that, and we're trying to release stuff newer and more often that can kind of keep people excited. And like when you see the Valentine's Day smiley, you might go get it, but you're like, oh, it's probably time for a refresh. Let me get, the stripe pack, for example. So yeah, last year was awesome in terms of what we learned, but yeah, we definitely ran into walls a few times.
Have you gotten into the subscription model yet, where you get a sock in a box?
I've had so many mixed takes on that. I
Yeah.
I I think it's a good idea generally. I think we need to figure out the best operations of it because it's like I think some people would say every quarter I want the same styles I like. Like I want
Right.
black smiley, the blue stripe, and the bolt. And others would say like, no, every quarter send me a
Whatever you got.
like the new stuff that,
Yeah.
maybe I missed when you dropped it or something. And I mean you can accommodate both. Like it's not
Yeah.
like we have to do one or the other, but we got to figure out how to operationalize that. And yeah, that I wouldn't. We could have a sock in a box by summer.
I like it. The sock club.
Yeah.
Very
I
nice.
I think I have sock club at one point. Someone signed me up for a sock club. I don't know if it was
Like
like a
business
joke.
socks.
I'm trying to remember what socks I got. I mean, I've gotten
Was
rid
it
of
like
so
an
many
April
socks.
Fool's joke or something?
I no, I'm serious. Like I'm pretty sure it was one of those like I think I was just needing I really don't have socks. Like I've got a box somewhere in my closet. I have no idea where they are. All my shoes are purchased with the intent of not wearing socks. Even
So,
golf shoes. I've tried that out, not successfully. So I really do need a good pair of golf socks. But
I'm a golf sock fan and sock
yes,
fan. I can't do no socks 99%
oh,
of the time.
but I think someone signed me up for a sock box, and it was I think I got like little random ones. It was for dress socks and things like that. So yeah, I think people would go for something like that.
Yeah.
Plus, it helps out your inventory management, right? You can do like run specials within the people subscribed, and you can get rid
yeah.
of stuff that's just sort of sitting there, SKUs that aren't selling through.
Yeah, I think that the thing I'm like is like it can't it's not going to decrease. Like it
Yeah,
will be net positive.
Yeah.
yeah,
Unless, we botch it operationally and someone doesn't get their sock box and they're pissed and now we lost a customer. But I would
yeah.
be confident that that wouldn't happen. Knock on
Yeah.
wood.
Nice.
Nah, y'all can figure that out. So with all the making and selling and growing the sock business, do you get time to play yourself?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I was telling this to someone last week, like every other role I've ever had, like when you're in construction or tech, Friday 2 p.m. rolls around and you're needing a tee box, like you need to go play. Um, I don't really have that itch like that anymore, which is crazy because it's like I sit here and, you know, tinker with golf most of the day. And then Saturday rolls around, I'm like, I don't want to see a fairway. I don't usually see the fairway when I play anyway, but like I do play, I'd say once every 2-3 weeks.
It's pretty
And
good.
It's
yeah,
not bad for a startup guy. Most people doing
no,
startups, you're buried 75, 80 hours a week. There's no sense in going
yeah.
out.
I mean, when you got a membership at TPC Sawgrass, you got to go use that thing.
I wish those are hard to come
Maybe you
by.
can work out how many stocks would they have to buy to do a trade out for that?
I've pondered that. They do have some. They do have some in the shop. I think they sold out pretty quick. So
Nice.
we're, me
That's
is
pretty exciting.
we're 1% of the way to a membership or something.
Well, think back then to when you do get to play. One question we ask all our guests is tell us the story of your most memorable golf shot.
Most memorable golf shot. Wow. Hmm. I drained a big putt on my buddy Marco, who's at Cabot Citrus Farms, but then he drained one right on top of me. So that had the potential, and the rug was pulled from under me. So shout out Marco for that putt. I don't know. Probably I was like 15 years old, and at the course I grew up at, junior club championship, had never shot under par in my life to that point. And there's a kid there. He's now one of my best friends. Was in his wedding. His name's AJ Crouch. He is a pro Corn Ferry Tour guy. Played at Florida, like an absolute stud phenom. He's like 5 years younger than me. So I'm 15, he's 10. And so like 15 and 10, like I'm still better than him, but he is hot on my heels. Like he's a freak. And I'm playing the junior club championship. He was in a like lower division or flight. So he and all his buddies, there's probably 20 of them behind the green as the sun was setting. I blocked my drive way out into the woods, right? And I mean, it was one of those moments where you're like, all right, I punch out, maybe make par, or we try to just go over the trees to this back pin over the bunker. And my dad always used to say, like, we didn't come here to lay up, which is ironic. We lived like a half mile away. So I think that was part of the joke. But I was like, or we didn't come all the way here to lay up. Yeah. So I'm like, man, screw it. Let's go for it. And pulled out a pitching wedge. Even par at the time. Just the perfect like high draw over the trees. Probably missed a branch by 6 inches. Carries the bunker, stops a foot away from the hole. And it was like AJ and all of his little buddies just being like, "Oh my gosh!" It was like, I mean, it was one of those things where they're like, "That was the best shot." Like it was probably not the best actual shot I've ever hit, but just the reaction and the situation was sweet.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Most of the time, I have 10-year-olds laughing at my golf game, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they didn't see the nine I made on the back the next day that took off the championship up. So
Oh no.
that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. You still have the memory.
great story.
Still got that one.
That's awesome. Well, we like to do another thing we call the quick nine. So this is just a little back and forth. Should be easy, quick questions. What is the favorite course that you've played? Maybe back in your construction and Tesla days.
Favorite course I've ever played.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think Valley Bunyan. Valley Bunyan was. It just felt like this is this is home. I don't know.
I've heard that from a lot of people. They love that place.
Yeah.
Well, if you've played there, you might not have many left, but any course at the top of your bucket list?
Hmm. I mean, Augusta has to be that. Yeah. I mean,
Do we have any Augusta branded Del Campo socks in the merch shop during the Masters week?
yeah, there will not be any in the merch shop. Um, yeah, we've had a few calls with folks connected there, and couldn't be couldn't be more. I don't know. It's just like it's funny. Like you watch the Masters and it's like the most top class event production, all of it, and then you have a very limited interaction with Augusta National, and it's the exact same. Like it's just
Yeah.
they just were the most polite, kind, like, hey, I like your product, congratulations. Um, here's where we're at, but let's keep in touch, and we wish you the best of luck. And like it was just you felt good about it, even though we're not necessarily going to have a master sock anytime soon. So
Well, it's not the master sock. So what would be the favorite pair of your Del Campo socks?
favorite pair, I like the Bolt. Bolt's mine. Yeah.
Very nice. All right. What is the weirdest request to go on the side of the socks?
There's a local sub shop, legendary, been here 30 years. Um, it's actually hilarious. Got to go look at it on our feed. We made a video with them, but they just have the most eclectic crap all over the place. It's like their signature. All the chairs are different. The tables are all different. Like signs everywhere. And I've been going there for 20 years, and they have this big sign that's just written in, like, it's like someone wrote it blindfolded with their opposite hand, and it said, "Does anyone know whose sock this is?" And there's an arrow, and there was like a kid's sock being hung on the sign, and that sign with that sock have been up there for 25 years. And Ed, the founder of the sub shop, we go there all the time. We call it our office, and I talked to him one day. I'm like, "Yo, Ed, I ever thought about making socks?" And he's like, "No, but like, why should we?" I'm like, "Well, this, and this." And he's like, "All right, I'm in." Like, made in the USA, local business, startup. Obviously, you're here all the time. Great, let's do it. Well, their little acronym, Angie's Sub Shop, is ASS. So on one side of the sock was ass in a circle, and then on the other side of the sock was a sock. That's the sockception. So a sock on the sock, opposite to ass, was the final design we went with.
I love it. I'll have
That's
a
awesome.
sandwich and a pair of socks.
Well, now we know where we're going to eat whenever we get to Jacksonville.
Heck yeah.
Even better, we got a sub shop picked out.
Yep.
That is 100% the move.
Yeah. All right. Who would be in your dream foursome?
Oh man. Oh, that's a really good one. Tiger, and anyone who probably grew up in the 90s, early 2000s, Tiger would probably be that. Um, that's a really good one. I never even thought about that. Um, Steve Spurrier.
I was going to ask, is Spurrier going to make the list?
Yeah, Bird Dog would have to be there.
What
Uh,
did you play for him?
oh no, no, I played for Urban and
Okay.
Will Muschamp. So
Okay. So
yeah,
I went to South Carolina, so I had Spurrier there, and then Muschamp came later. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. We look out. That might be our next license.
There you go. Come on.
Yeah. And then I don't know, but just by product of, like, if I'm playing with Tiger and Spurrier, if I didn't invite my dad, I would
Be
face
a problem.
consequences, both like in reality and then in my own consciousness. So yeah, my pops.
Okay. While you're playing, are you a music on the course guy? And if so, what are you listening to?
Yeah, I think it depends. Most of the time, I am at least like a subtle like, so where it's only within your cart, I think is appropriate. We're not necessarily blaring anything unless we're south of the border, which is always a fun excursion as well. And then I think the genre varies. I think you start it slower, maybe some reggae, perhaps country, and then you kind of let the round dictate where it needs to go from there. I mean, we're shot with Spotify now. You can take it any which way. I think it
Been
has to
on
start
those
has to start slow.
been on those rounds with music guys where you start off, you're like, this is nice and chill, and then someone's not doing well, and all of a sudden it's like we're Rage Against the Machine or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't want to let my like I don't want anyone to hear it that doesn't want to hear it is kind of my
Yeah,
thing. Not too loud, not too obnoxious, but
still
yeah.
proper etiquette.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. What is your favorite snack on the golf course?
Gleazy Dog, shout out them. We did some socks for them. They're gonna change the hot dog game on golf courses. It's the best dog I've ever had. Um, Gleazy Dog is good. And then I'm kind of like a protein bar guy, just more transactional. Like I can't have like a chicken Caesar wrap at the turn. I'd blow that next ball right out of bounds. So
Of course.
yeah.
Of course. All right. Well, you see logos all the time. Do you have a favorite golf course logo? And it
Golf.
doesn't have to be one you've used.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. Um, hmm. Man, I never even really thought about that. Um, Pablo Creek here is pretty cool. It's understated. It's a good um like it's of a creek. It's subtle. I really like theirs. Um and then like Olympic Club is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Hard to beat that. All right. Last question. What is next for Del Campo?
Yeah. Good question. We think about it a lot. I think I mean, first it's staying in socks. Um I just feel like so many brands try to be so many things to so many people, and it's like I don't know anyone that can be an expert in all that, so I don't know how we would try. So it's like let's just make the best socks in the game and be consistent and not try to branch into territories or categories that we don't know. So I think that's good. We'll do some maybe subtle things like we made a crew neck prototype, so we might do that as like a limited thing for you know, guys on tour, friends of the brand, whatever. Um, so I think socks staying in our core focus there is for sure. Um, and then like I think it might evolve to be more than just a golf sock, which I've gone back and forth on. We have 10 people that have told me they've run marathons in Del Campos, which, kind of like, oh, that's pretty awesome. And they're like, they're the only socks I'll run marathons in. I'm like, wow. So I think that's probably the next extension or evolution is like making socks that are either more compatible for other sports or activities, but keeping the same, you know, premium sock experience, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what's next. We'll continue with licensing, new styles. I don't see us going no show. We get that asked a lot. I think it kind of defeats the whole ethos of the brand. Um, and then, like we have some crews we've done. TPC Sawgrass decided to go with a crew. So I think it's like playing with the sock height, maybe messing into different sports or activities, but socks is going to be it.
I like it.
Sounds
Well,
like a plan.
yeah, Zach, this has been a lot of fun, man. So tell everybody, like Jonathan asked earlier, tell everybody how they find the socks, how if they want to do some custom stuff, where they go and do that.
Yeah, real easy. DelCampoGolf.com. You'll see all of our styles right there. We got a page called Logos, shows you some of the work we've done. A form that you fill out, and little known secret comes right to me. And yeah, it's really easy. You send us a logo, we can mock it up on what our Del Campo would look like, stitch by stitch, pixel by pixel, and then in 4 weeks you got some custom socks. So, and then
Sweet.
the other thing I'll say is the Pick Five product is people I feel like don't recognize that as much. Like you can go build your own custom pack. You can get kid sizes, adults, whatever. So
Like it.
delcampogolf.com.
Very nice. Well, this has been a lot of fun, man. We'll do our part to tell everybody more about what you guys are doing. We like it. Like I said, I've got a pair. Jonathan will get you a pair.
Yep.
But yeah, everybody needs to go check out Del Campo, changing the sock game in golf for sure, and a future sounds like maybe the running game in other sports as well. So, for Jonathan and Zach, this is Robbie. Y'all been listening to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.